Stress is a word that we hear in practically every conversation we have today. Work stress is a huge contributor to the ailments that plague people. While there will always be challenging situations at work, it is not the situation itself that causes us to feel stressed. It is our reaction to the challenges we face. Stress is almost always caused by dysfunctional emotions that emerge as a result of our processing of the situation. These emotions are usually a consequence of our lived experiences and genetics. Dysfunctional emotions are those that do not serve any visible constructive purpose. On the other hand, they disrupt our lives and cause distress to us and people we interact with. In an earlier video, the link for which is in the bio, I explained how constant, intense emotions can hurt us both physically and mentally. It impacts our professional and personal lives. Emotional turmoil can result in physical and mental disorders such as ulcers, hypertension, acidity, insomnia, autoimmune diseases, anxiety, depression, to name a few. All of these are an outcome of prolonged experience of stress. Stress builds up on a foundation of intense emotion. The path to better emotional health starts with awareness. However, to live a fulfilling life, it is important to have control over our emotions most of the time. To do this, we have to understand the nature of our emotions. We need to learn to express our emotions in a manner that is acceptable to the people around us. This is definitely in our hands. When we face a situation, it appears that we have no control over our reactions and our thoughts, and emotions appear out of thin air. That is not the case. When faced with an uncomfortable situation, the information that is collected by our senses is sent to the brain, which processes that information in the light of our past experiences and the knowledge we may have through secondary sources, a parent's warning, a friend's related experience, something we see in the news, and so on. This information processing will result in either a positive or a negative spin on the current situation. That subconscious processing of memories or images gives rise to what is called in cognitive behavior therapy an automatic thought. That thought then leads to other thoughts and the storyline builds up until the imaginary situation fuses with the real situation. We are then unable to see them as different. Simultaneously, we experience visible physiological responses such as the quickening of the pulse, sweaty palms, weak knees, etc. These reactions are peculiar to each person. For example, if you have not completed a task assigned to you, here is a storyline that could build up in your mind. Every time you see your boss, the thought is going to occur to you that she is going to ask you if you completed the task. She will be upset when you tell her that you have not completed the task. You are going to have a bad review. Your pay increment will be reduced. You may even be laid off. The storyline gives rise to emotion. One may experience anger at the unfairness of being assigned the task, anxiety about the future, irritation with colleagues, and so on. The emotion we feel could be our go-to emotion, which means it's the emotion that we feel most frequently in difficult situations. People can be different in the emotions evoked by the same situation. In the brain, the amygdala, or the alarm system of the body, receives the signals and sends frantic messages to the rest of the nervous system, and from there to the extremities. A person could then experience angry outbursts, weeping, panic attacks, nausea, dizziness, weakness in hands and legs, shivering, etc. All signs of emotional trauma. Before we reach the breaking point, it is necessary to insert an intervention that will help us get back into control. These interventions would activate the prefrontal cortex that will respond in a more rational and emotionally mature manner. Consistent practice of interventions such as meditation, breath work, journaling, or embodiment exercises will enlarge the prefrontal cortex and shrink the amygdala over time. Research has proved this. As a result, our responses will be less knee-jerk and more appropriate, or in other words, mature. With practice, one can stop the emotion from building up. When there are two candidates of equal caliber competing for a job or a promotion or even a temporary assignment, it is the emotional quotient that tips the scale. Cultivating an awareness of our behavior when faced with challenging situations will help us increase our EQ. Most often, not much thought is given to emotions and the behavior that results from them. We assume that it's just the way we are, but it does not have to be so. Without the awareness, we will continue down the same beaten path of emotional upheavals. We might even blame the setbacks we have on others, imagined shortcomings in ourselves such as lack of skill, exposure, or even poor physical health. While all the time we can taste more success and feel a heightened sense of well-being by simply reining in our emotions and changing the way we react to difficult situations. As Abraham Maslow put it, I suppose it's tempting if the only tool you have is a hammer to treat everything as if it were a nail. Our beliefs govern how we perceive situations and react to them. Usually the beliefs are so strongly rooted, we fail to realize that they can be changed. Deep-rooted beliefs lead to rigidity in behavior. As the cliche goes, the only thing predictable about life is change. So anyone can affect change in themselves for a better quality of life. With time, the benefits will be obvious. In an earlier video, I have presented the deep breathing technique. This is the simplest intervention to control emotions. It can be done anywhere, by anyone. When you find yourself getting worked up, just take a few deep breaths, even if you are in the midst of a heated argument. A few such breaths will calm the mind and the body. It will keep you from acting out and is a reset for the nervous system which has triggered all the emotional reactions. For lasting benefits, practice deep breathing for 5 to 10 minutes every day. This will help to rewire the brain. Hasty or instinctive reactions will become more deliberate. The deep breathing technique can calm you momentarily. The intense emotion that you may be going through as a result of prolonged conflict at work may require a more interactive tool. Journaling is an effective technique for venting your feelings without causing mental, physical, and social harm to yourself. It is a tool that is widely used by psychotherapists to treat depression and anxiety. This is a longer-term solution. By journaling, you can not only find a release to the tension or stress you are holding in your body, consistent practice can actually help you understand your usual triggers, how you express your emotions, and how you tend to hold stress. Consider it your in-home therapist. Here's what you need to do to cultivate a journaling habit. When you feel yourself overcome by emotions, find a quiet place and start writing about what you are feeling. Where are you feeling it in your body? What are the physiological changes you are noticing? For example, heaviness of heart, perspiration, increased heart rate, shivering, shaking, sadness. Scan the body for anything that you feel. Pay attention to your hands, the pen, the paper, your physical movements as you write. Just examining yourself and what you are experiencing. The next step would be to label the emotion. What emotion do you think you are feeling? Describe the situation that upset you. What about the situation upset you? Some situations and people affect us more than others. As you continue to do this exercise, over time, look for triggers that appear more often. Notice that there may be a pattern of reaction to that trigger. This will help you identify what sets you off and increase your awareness about it. Such awareness might help you prepare for similar challenges and reduce the level of upset you feel. You can always consult a therapist to guide you in the process. As you write, remember there are no right or wrong answers. Don't write for perfection. Simply write anything that comes to your mind without looking for correct grammar, sentences, or ways to describe what you are feeling. Imagine you are speaking to your best friend. Let the writing flow easily. Don't stop to think too hard. Write without judgment. Do not attribute blame or criticism to yourself or anyone else. This exercise is only about examining the changes in our body and build awareness how far we tend to react. If it's not practical to do this when you are at work, you can pick a time every day to write about your feelings. Tackle difficult situations and interactions. The embodiment practice or focus on bodily sensations can be done by itself or incorporated into the journaling practice. It helps us focus on our physical body and not on our thoughts. The purpose being that we distract ourselves from our thoughts and prevent the buildup of a storyline. A snowballing storyline could lead to very intense emotions that could dictate our behavior. Such behavior may be unacceptable to others and will most certainly cause us embarrassment and regret when the heat of the moment has passed. This is a simple practice where we close our eyes and focus on the physical sensations we feel in our body. Once we identify the physical sensations, we can then label the emotion. The superior intelligence of human beings allows the accumulation of experiences and perceptions to create stress. Stress is created by psychological factors. It could be an automatic thought, memory, or anticipation of a difficult situation based on experience. It originates in the mind of a person at the perception of a threat, physical, emotional, or social. Over a period of time, the body starts releasing cortisol, even at the thought of a stressful situation, and we want to prevent that. The techniques that have been presented in this video, if practiced consistently, can prevent the stress buildup and the subsequent ailments that result. If you found this video useful, subscribe to my channel for other videos that will guide you to success in your career.